Good evening, Carla from Rehan Allahwala's World of Connections, doing a surprise interview on Saturday when I normally don't do them. But this lady is so amazing that I just could not let it go. I am about to talk to Ammarah Shah, who is from Lahore, Pakistan. Great wave. We'll be waving at them. And she is amazing. She is using storytelling to teach children at her institute. I don't know if it's an actual school. She'll tell us in a few moments. And she's really fascinating. I've been waiting to do this for actually a few months, so I am very excited. Having said that, I want to remind you that all my shows, like all my shows, this show is sponsored by the Institute of Peace, which is an organization that is promoting peace one conversation at a time. And with that, Ammarah, please introduce yourself.
Hi, Carla. Thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you so much for taking time out for me. So I would like to introduce myself from where exactly. Okay. So as you all know, my name is Ammarah Shah, and I'm from Pakistan, where we have our national language that is called Urdu. So I am a storyteller, and I'm very much emotionally attached to my national language, which is why the stories I tell and the content I make is now focused in Urdu language. I also plan to make content for the global market, but for now I really enjoy it, and I have a focus on Urdu language. So I did develop my interest in storytelling after I did my research in my MS thesis. And the thesis was actually about vocabulary building in young children through storytelling. It was a very interesting work. Initially, my supervisor told me to not to do this topic because it required a lot of field work, and in Pakistan there is a little bit of culture where women are not easily they can have access to outside of their home, and they're outsides of their own college premises, the places that where they already are going, and their families are familiar with, they can only go there in those places. But to gather data, to organize events where I can work with children in real and gather data and gather experience and then report them in my thesis about to measure that if my storytelling technique is really working in raising the vocabulary of young children or not. So when I insisted on that I have interest in doing this and I can do this, and I think I am a natural storyteller and I feel like I really want to do this, and if this works and the results are great, I might use this, and I might I might choose this as my career line also. So, well, my supervisor, who is a Spanish native, and she's an amazing person. She allowed me and she supported me to work on the research that I did later, which was vocabulary building, impact on the vocabulary of young children through storytelling activities. So that was my introduction and the introduction of what I do. So what else, Carla?
Okay, let's go back a little. What got you interested in storytelling? When did this start, as a child, or did it start when in your life?
I started writing short stories, and I used to get them published in local magazines. Uh, but those were only confined to writing, not telling. But my public speaking and stage experience began when I think, matlab, maybe when I was in school. Yeah, I was in school. I started to come on stage for comparing, for small speeches. But later on, I really enjoyed it when I did, for the first time, I told a very funny story in college, and it got a great response. So I enjoyed it. I loved the whole experience. But later on, when I saw around in Pakistan, when I saw that there are a lot of opportunities for children, of the kind that people can buy clothes for their children, people can buy books for their children, but children do not there is no one who can tell those stories, who can open those books for their children and tell them. But and on the on having said that, in the education system, in the school system, in the boundary of the class, children are supposed to, they are expected to love the books. And I used to wonder that how is that possible, that kids in their free time, in their fun time, in their play time, they are not exposed, they are not made to love the books. They are not told the stories in a way that they fall in love with the stories. So how is it possible? How can we even expect that kids learn to open the book all by themselves? I don't think any learning, any reading experience, any book writing experience can happen without love, without passion, without that inner provocation of creativity. So my interest developed when I saw, which was in my after my college, and specifically in my university, when I was studying applied linguistics and literature. I saw that there is a real gap in my society, that no literature people, who are literature people, by literature people, I mean people who are taking degrees in literature, linguistics, and ELTs, English language teaching and linguistics, or other language teachings, they are not taking responsibility of producing literature or content in the local language. So I thought that in order to begin the journey, first of all, the first step is what the first step will be to create love for the books. So this was the aim. This is the gap that I felt, and I decided to, I decided myself to be the first person who came up, who can do this. So yeah, that's how my interest began.
When you were a child, did you enjoy stories?
I was not shy. I actually have not. I forget to have any track of the time when I'm telling the stories. I have told stories on the malls. I have told stories on the roads. I have told stories in the schools, on the stages. I have told stories on the birthday parties. I have told stories on the shadis, the weddings. Here, if you would see my Instagram, there are really funny pictures of mine wearing a costume of a carrot, baby carrot. My first story, which literally went viral, it was so loved by the kids here, by the moms here. It was of Gajruka. Achha, Gajruka is the character that I developed. And it was so loved by everybody that I eventually decided to make a book of it, which now I have published.
Okay, when you were a child, did you like writing stories? Did you like stories? What was your favorite book as a kid?
As a kid, we have this local magazine. It's called Talimo Tarbiyat, which means education and I don't know the what the other, how would you translate? Which I think it did that mean education of a child. And another child was non-ehal, which means children, young children. So those were the two magazines that we used to read. We were not allowed to read fairy tales. We were not allowed to read mainstream literature because my father is an educationist himself, and he had this belief that fairy tales take you away from the reality, which I think maybe that was his perspective. But yeah, we were not actually allowed to read the mainstream literature. So I cannot tell you any one story, but yeah, we were told a lot of stories from our the religious stories, the stories of our prophets and all. So basically, storytelling, not the conventional one, but the religious one that our parents decided that has been part of our life. Prophets, so stories of Prophet Muhammad, other prophets, and from mythologies, Chinese wisdom.
What was your favorite book as a child?
As a child, my favorite book was as a child. Those are actually 15 books. It's a series. 15 books by one author, Naseem Hijazi, and it was political. It was historical fiction. So it's called Khak or Khoon. How would I translate it? Mm, Mud and blood. Yeah,
Blood and Blood.
yeah. It was historical fiction, and it was there was this. It's called Shaheen. Its name was Falcon. It was of some brave hero. Yeah, so that kind of stories we were told, which was those stories were dark stories for our child. But later on, I decided to not to read them, and I uh, came across fairy tales of Brothers Grimm. Those I loved a lot. I read about Hans Christian Andersen's stories. Those I loved a lot. The Ugly Duckling I loved. I loved Snow White. I loved the Seven Dwarfs, the Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I used to love such stories, not the dark old stories that we were exposed to. I was really scared of those stories. But I really like these Brother Grimm's, Hans Christian Andersen, and yeah, and there was this Ishtiaq Ahmed. No, Ishtiaq Ahmed. There was this writer. He has this. Um, how would I say that? Um, just for seeing it.
Take your time.
He was the spy. He was a spy. There was a spy character in the series. Detective novels. Yeah, detective novels. I used to read.
Did you have a favorite story growing up when you were maybe 5 or 6 that also inspired you? That you
Yeah,
also share with your kids?
yeah. It was a story of this hero. His name was Sheikh Abdul Qadir Jilani. It's an Arabic tale, and he was a truth teller. He was a very truthworthy child, not an adult. He was a child, and his mother sent him to a business tour. In those times, traveling was not easy. It was very hard, and his mother told that you don't have to ever tell a lie. You have to be very truthful. And she gave him 40 dinars. Dinar was it was a big currency in those times, in that section of world. It was a big currency. So she gave 40 dinars and sewed them in the sleeve. And she told that just stay safe, keep these dinars if you need them, and don't tell a lie. And now you are good to go. So he went, and the whole caravan was attacked by robbers. The robbers actually took everything away from the people of the caravan. And this one of the robbers came to this boy and he asked that, if you have anything, do you have anything? And he said, yes, I have 40 dinars. And he was like, 40 dinars? How come you have 40 dinars? And he said, yes, I have. And the robber took the boy to the master of all thief or all robbers, and he said, the boy is claiming that he have 40 dinars and he doesn't have anything on him. So the master said, where are the 40 dinars? And he said, they are secretly sewed in my sleeve. And he said, let's open his sleeve. And they opened, and there were 40 dinars. And the master asked, you could have saved your money. You could have lied. It was so safely sealed. Nobody would have known. Why did you just told us? And he said that my mother said that you never have to tell a lie. You can never tell a lie, no matter what. And the whole caravan was so surprised and impressed by the truthfulness of their child that the robbers gave everything back, and they actually asked that, who is your mother and what are the teachings of yours that have made you such a brave truth teller? And then he told that my mother actually told me to not to do not to tell any kind of a lie. So that was my favorite story growing up, and I have a very emotional attachment with the story. I really like it.
Do you read that story to your kids?
A lot of time, yes. I like it, and yes.
How do they like it?
They are every time. If they catch me telling a lie, they would tell me, you don't have to tell a lie. You have to tell the truth.
So the words are coming back at you. Now, do you use English in any of your storytelling?
No, I don't. I actually, Urdu is what I more excel at. All my degrees are in English, but I am more proficient in writing and listening and reading. Instead of telling and speaking, I think I lack a bit, and I have to be more conscious. And when I'm conscious and I have to prepare myself for the speech, I think that's what I don't enjoy. That's when I cannot enjoy the natural flow that's coming of ideas and everything. But when in Urdu, when I start speaking, I lose track of time and I just keep telling stories. And every time when I tell story, the old story, whenever I tell it next time, I make different creativity in it, and I tell it in a more different and interesting way. But this thing I do not actually enjoy in English, which is why I think I'm very good with Urdu telling. But I think in future, now that I'm for the first time I'm translating my own book, which has a great response in English, to place it on Amazon. So I think I'll be doing English storytelling in the future, I think.
Why is it that you don't, in the world right now, English is the global language. And I'm just wondering why you don't use English also so you could reach more people with stories like this.
I have this language anxiety, foreign language anxiety. I know a lot of English. When I speak it well. But somewhere in my mind, I have this thing that maybe when I tell story, which is my when I tell story, it's so me. It's so I feel so free and I feel so creative. So I think I need to get over this fear only.
I agree. And the reason I am asking is that these stories, like the story you just told, is a beautiful story for people around the world to hear.
Yeah.
especially children.
Yeah.
And, you know, whether it comes from Pakistan or France or wherever, it needs to be told. So I'm wondering, and I guess I'm a little surprised to hear that you're afraid to speak in English the stories. Have you begun to compile stories in English at all?
Uh, I have only tried to, I have translated my own book as yet, nothing else.
Okay, so what's in your own book?
It's actually about a character, which is a baby carrot, and its name is Gajruka. The name Gajruka is actually derived from the word Gajar. Gajar means carrot. In Urdu, we call carrot Gajar. So Gajruka is baby carrot. In English, you might call it carrotling. Carrotling. So this baby carrot, I also have made a puppet that I usually use as a story prop. I'll show you. This is a baby carrot. See?
Oh, I love him.
Hey Carla, how are you? I love you too.
I am doing really well. How are you today?
I am a little sad. It's my sleep time. I want to sleep, and now I have to talk to you.
Well, I'm so happy you are talking to me. Can you tell me a story?
How can I tell you a story?
Tell me a story. I love stories.
Okay. So now that you have asked me to tell a story, let me tell you one thing.
What?
Once upon a time, when I used to live under the soil, you know what? There was this old carrot. His name was Gajar Dada. Do you know what is Gajar Dada?
No, tell me.
Okay, Gajruka, just let me tell her what is Gajar Dada. So Gajar Dada.
No, let him tell me.
Okay.
You're doing he's doing a fantastic job.
So, Carla, Gajar Dada is actually an old carrot. The oldest carrot who used to live in Carrotopia. Carrotopia is the underground world of carrots.
Wow.
Do you want to see?
Do you have friends from Carrotopia?
Yes.
Wow.
That's me. Let me show you my picture.
Oh, I am so excited.
All right.
No. I want him to tell me. Come on.
It was so. It's just not prepared. I'm not prepared. Okay.
That's okay. You know how to do this. Forget about being prepared. Just have fun with it.
So once under the soil, when I was living in Carrotopia, I met the oldest carrot. You know his name now? His name was Gajar Dada.
Wow. How old is Gajadapa?
He's so old. We don't know how old, but he has been living in Carrotopia since we ever know him.
Wow.
And Carla, you know, what does he want it to? He wanted to do. He had only one wish. And that wish was that he wanted to see the world outside of the Carrotopia.
Wow.
The world
Well,
of beauty.
where is Caratopia? Is it in Pakistan?
Well, let me show you, and we'll think about it later. Hey, Mara, can you show her where is Caritopia? Okay, just a minute. Let me show it. Okay, so there is this Caritopia. Okay.
Wow! Can I go visit Caratopia?
If you want to, I think Caritopia is long and deep and he can go anywhere.
Wow! Do you know how many kids would love to know about Caratopia?
Maybe, yes. And who are these? Now Gajruka will tell you about these two characters.
Oh, great! I'm all excited. Would you come to the kids' show tomorrow and tell them about Caratopia?
What? Really? At what time?
10 p.m. Pakistan time. And it's all with children 20 years old and younger.
That's wonderful, but I feel a little bit nervous.
That's okay. So do they. And so do I. It doesn't matter.
That's fine then. Let's do this.
Yeah, tomorrow night. Okay?
Awesome. Awesome.
And maybe your brother can come, your 5-year-old brother.
Whoa, he was. What he does, he really don't like me telling stories to other kids. He is very jealous. So I don't know. Either I can come, or either Gajruka can come, or I can come, or he can come. So I will be the moderator for either my kid or Gajruka. So maybe we can do it one day my kid and the next time Gajruka, or maybe this time Gajruka and next time my son. Maybe we can do it like.
Let's see how it goes. Your son may want to just watch the first time he's on camera, but because he's really young.
Yeah, he's
but
little.
We'll let him watch. And Carrot, I forgot his name.
Gajruka. I want you to learn this name. Say it.
Gadrupa.
Gajruka. Yes.
Gadruka.
Yes.
Gadruka. Now, tell me, he was going to introduce me to 2 characters. Where did he go?
Come here, Gajruka. You need to come here and tell Carla about carrot. Okay. So, Carla, there are 2 other characters under the soil, inside of the Caratopia, and their names are Kechwa and Pechwa. Those are 2 earthworms. Pechwa is a pink color earthworm, and Quechua is a purple color earthworm. Have you seen the picture?
I think I did. Can I see it again?
Yes, let me show you. This is Quechua, the one in pink. And this is Pechua. The Pechua is in pink because P for Pechua, P for pink, and Quechua is in purple.
Wow. Who did the drawing?
No, I commissioned them.
Ah, you commissioned them. Okay.
So, the naughty earthworms, Quechua and Pechua, used to go outside of the Caratopia. They would watch the blue sky, the flowers, and they would come back to Caratopia to Gajar Dada, and they would tell about the outside world to him. They would tell him that how beautiful is the world outside of Carrotopia and that how colorful is it.
Oh, so that's how the carrots of Carrotopia heard about the outside world. Wow, how cool.
Yeah.
Did the old carrot go to visit the outside world?
Yes. And these are the carrots that are sleeping under the Carrotopia. Inside of the Carrotopia, under the soil.
Oh.
And Gaja Dada is such a caring and nice character. He is elderly and he takes care of the all sleeping carrots very much. And he would always tell the naughty earthworms to stay quiet, to not to make noise, otherwise they will wake up and they will get disturbed and they'll be crying like we take care of the little babies.
Oh, I don't want carrots crying.
Yeah, nobody wants. But guess what? One day, while everybody was inside of the soil, when I was not even born, the tale is from those times, very, very old times. When I was literally not born, Gajar Dada told that one day there was this voice that he heard coming from outside of the Paratopia. And the voice was cook, cook, cook. We were all scared. We didn't know what is this sound, who is making this sound. And everybody was so stressed. Everybody was worried. Gajar Dada was worried that that all the carrots will get disturbed because of this voice, this noise, and they will wake up. So he told everybody to stay quiet. And he said, shh, shh, don't speak. Hey, who is this? Who is this somebody who is making this noise? Who is making the noise? But nobody was telling because the noise was coming from outside of the ground. So this was the noise coming. And suddenly when he said them to stop, he shrieked in a loud voice. And all the carrots woke up and they started to cry. Because they were scared of the Gajar Dada's voice, who was already trying to make everybody go silent. This was happening. And then, while they were crying, Quechua and Pechua listened to the noise of crying, and Gajar Dada was so worried. And when they saw this, what they did, you know, that earthworm's body is segmented and is elastic. So what they did, that Quechua tucked his end of the tail from the root, and just like a string, he stretched himself and loosened himself suddenly, and he was all he banged on the roof of Carrotopia, and there were made small circles from which the light started coming inside.
Wow.
And it was the sunlight. And all the carrots got their first food from which they can start photosynthesis.
Wow. So what happened then?
And then, what?
What happened when they saw the light? Did they get excited?
Yes, they get quiet and they get excited and happy. You can see their faces. Because it's just like when the kids are crying and we give them small little feeder, they stop and they just calm. It just helps them calm down. But later they realized the carrot, the Quechua, Pechua, Gajar Dada, and all the carrotlings, that the noise that was coming from the upside of the ground was of a little kid who actually wanted to sow the seed. If you see the image.
Wow.
So he wanted to sow the seed, and all the carrots were scared, and they went to Gajarzada and they asked, "Hey Gajarzada, what is this noise?" They are asking, see?
Wow.
And then Gajarzada told them, it's a very beautiful poem. I cannot translate it in English, this poem. But in this poem, it is told that Gajarzada tells that there is this spade and it is used to soften the soil before sowing the seed, and this voice is coming from that. So later on, the boy who was making the noise of the spade from the upper side of the soil, he sows the seed just like this. And then comes the process of seed germination, and this is how gajruka is actually growing from seed to a small little carrot. And then came the day when gajruka was born, just like this.
How amazing. Go on.
And then Gajruka asked that, what is this place? Where am I? Who am I? Where am I born? What is the purpose of my life? All these questions he is asking from the elderly carrot called Gajar Dada.
And do you realize that this is also a wonderful science lesson?
Yes, of course. Yes, I did. I actually infused that concept into this story. And then Gajar Dada tells Gajruka that this is a small world of carrots called Carrotopia. And we all are carrots, and we are made to serve the mankind, our purpose of life. And then he says, what is the purpose of my life? And Gajadada says, there is a lot of time to search what is the purpose of life. Right now, for you, it's important to learn how to make your own food, photosynthesis. So let's go and learn about it. And now the little seed is actually growing and taking his food from water, soil, earth, air, and sun. So this is actually the process of that dry science, that dry biology class of seed germination. This is the book that is educating child about concept of biology, concept of self-existential philosophy, concept of seed sowing and loving the plant, constant lessons of environment loving environment, developing a connection of a child from environment, from seed, from soil. I think these all messages are actually infused in this diagram, this drawing.
Absolutely.
And then these are little comic elements that only somebody who is who knows Urdu would understand. So for a story, what?
Not necessarily. This could be taught to anyone around the world. And what would happen with kids is that they get so fascinated by it.
All right, so let me tell you then. These are naughty.
Gosh.
These are two naughty earthworms, and they are saying that Gajuka actually asked so many questions. They're saying like that. They're actually mocking them. And he says, thank God only Gajruka asked. Imagine what would have happened to Gajar Dada if all the carrots would have started asking so many questions. He would have gone mad. So that's what they are saying over here.
But
And then,
the point is, that is what a child is all about.
yeah.
Do you know what you could do with this book and how famous it could become? You need to do this in English.
What you can? I think.
No doubt. Oh my gosh, it's amazing.
I'm glad. I'm glad that you like it. So, what you want to know more about the story?
Actually, it's getting really late for you now.
Yeah, I just saw the time. It felt like just a moment. It just feels like a moment.
Right, because you know why? You're so passionate about it.
Yes, that I am. This is the thing I'm very much sure about. I'm very much sure and clear about it. You know, I in Pakistan publishing, overall in the world, publishing is a very difficult and a hard thing to do. But in Pakistan, for a woman to figure out, for a woman to commission some art, it's very difficult, you know? It's very difficult.
Don't stop.
Yeah, yeah. Our next book is coming.
Wonderful.
And it's about when kids develop this stealing habit. It's about that self-accountability. It's called Moti Choor Ke Laddu. Laddu is a small sweet. It's an Indian sweet.
You need to teach this in English. Also, do not just keep it for Pakistan. You have so much.
Okay, let's do that. I did not know
Don't do it. We will do this. Do you have any last words for our audience before we go off air?
Everybody who is watching me, I have one request. You can call it a request. You can call it a one advice, and that is, do not stop reading. I had a lot of ideas in my mind while growing up, also in my preteens, in my teenage, but only I was able to write it when I started to read. When I started to read people who are writing amazing stuff. Do not waste your time in reading random things. Just make a line, stay focused and stay targeted, and become well read. So you know, reading is something that is going to enhance your thought process, which will eventually help you in your ideas, in your creativity. Even if you're an entrepreneur, it can help you. It will help you gather your thoughts and clear your minds, which eventually will lead you to whatever you want to get in the world, get in your life. That's my message for all of you.
You are amazing. You are not allowed to stop this. You need to keep on writing and keep on getting this work done.
Okay.
I am extremely impressed. Now, having said that, we've been talking about 45 minutes now, and it's 1:45 in Pakistan. Yeah. So what I want you to do is come to the English show tomorrow with that carrot and with your book and with your kid. And
okay.
add this to the show.
Okay, I can try, but as you can see, Carla, that okay, let's do this. Also, I would like to tell you one thing. You know, I hand stitched it. I made it myself.
Beautiful. You're amazing. We are going to go off air now. We'll talk in a moment off air. But I want to thank you for speaking with me. I want to thank those who watched for watching. And we are going to talk again tomorrow on the Learn English by Speaking English show for children under 20 years old. Have a great night. Remember that this show is sponsored by the Institute of Peace, which promotes peace one conversation at a time. Can we wave goodbye?
Lovely
Bye,
talking.
everyone.